William Dale McReynolds, Bill, Billy Dale, son, brother, nephew, cousin, husband, father, uncle, grandfather, and friend. Bill was many things to many people over a long and full life. He was first a proud son. He loved his father Yuri and often spoke of him as his best friend. When he spoke of Yuri, he always said that his dad was such a good man, a friend to everyone, and would give even a stranger the last $5 in his pocket if he needed it. Bill described his mother, Bertha, as very spunky, a woman who wanted to eat her dessert before dinner whenever she felt like it. Bill was a perfect blend of the two. He was as good a man as his father, and a quiet dose of his mother's spunk. Bill was an admiring and protective brother. Marty was his older brother, and when they were young, they shared a bed. He would tell us the story that Marty was a restless sleeper and would often slug him in the middle of the night. As a 17-year-old, Bill decided to follow his brother Marty's footsteps and serve his country. Marty was in the Air Force and was just wrapping up his service when Bill joined the Navy. Bill felt the love of his brother when Marty flipped him his lucky silver dollar, which Marty had carried during his many missions in the Pacific. Marty said that it had served him well and it would serve his younger brother Bill, too. The coin was a special memory of his brother and the war. Bill kept it for decades before giving it to Marty's daughter Joy. After Marty married, Bill was a big part of his family. He loved Marty's wife Jenny and their lovely daughter Joy. As Joy was growing up, they spent a lot of time together on weekend trips to the family's one-room cabin in northern Michigan. Bill believed that Joy was properly named because she brought so much joy to Bill and all the family. Later, Bill proudly became a great uncle to Joy's son Brooke. He was his mother's spirit and joy for life. His sister Vesta was always close. She had a very special place in Bill's heart. He always looked out for his sis. Family was very important to Bill, and he took his role as a brother very seriously. Bill was also a cousin. I recently heard a story from one of his cousins, Glenna. She recalled that all of Bill's cousins liked it when the family would come to visit because Bill was a lot of fun to be around. He was the only boy in a group of girls. Bill was a long life learner who made some lasting friendships and most importantly met his future wife, Phyllis, in elementary school. Phyllis was the new girl in town and boy was she good looking. Bill didn't waste any time getting to know her. After returning from the Navy and dating for a few years, he and Phyllis married in 1948. Just this year, they celebrated their 65th wedding anniversary. Over the years, as husband and wife, they built a home and became loving parents to Kimberly and Karen. They loved to travel, and one of their favorite trips was going west. Little did they know that decades later, they would make a bold decision to leave Michigan and move to Colorado, moving west to join their daughter Karen and son-in-law Ken. They really loved the beauty of the mountains and spending time driving through them. One of their favorite places to visit is Estes Park and having lunch at the Stanley Hotel. For Bill, the time spent in the Navy was life-changing. He joined the Navy as a 17-year-old kid and came out a man. Bill's experience was shared by thousands of other men and women who had served. When Bill returned home from serving our country, he worked at Burke Lumber with his dad and sister Vess. He delivered materials to job sites and stocked the yard with new materials. Bill remembered the hard work with pride, driving a truck out to the job sites and delivering huge loads of drywall, which he had to stock in the correct amount of pieces in each room by himself. Since Bill was working at the lumberyard and his dad was pretty handy, they built their first house in Waterford, Michigan. Bill spent a lifetime in the workplace and believed that no job was too small and that every job required your best effort. He took a lot of pride in everything he did, and this made him a great role model. As Bill told his grandson Benito for a sixth grade school paper that Benito was writing about Bill, he never dreaded going to work. As a worker, Bill started early in life. As a kid, he was a paper boy. He liked to run home and would make a sandwich out of whatever his mother was cooking that day. It didn't matter if it was a pot of beans. Bill would slap it between two pieces of bread and run out the door. He loved to tell this story. Bill also liked to tell a story about his dog Dempsey. He would enter the yard through the back gate and would run as fast as he could to get to the house before Dempsey caught up and nipped his heels. Both Bill and Dempsey were big teases, and they loved each other completely. You could still hear the love that Bill had for Dempsey every time he told this story decades later. He was a General Motors employee for many decades. In the early 1950s, he got a job at the Pontiac retail store, which was his favorite job, and he made many lifelong friends. Bill has told many stories about the fun he had working here and all the practical jokes they played on each other. He was the last one out the door when it closed. Bill's next job was also with Pontiac Motors. As a zone rep, he traveled all over Michigan. Bill retired in 1980 at the age of 55. One of the perks was he always had a new and fun car to drive. Bill loved cars and loved attending car shows whenever he could. As a retiree, Bill enjoyed working around the house and yard. He even took on odd jobs painting. Bill liked traveling with his friends and going on golf trips. He made yearly trips to Myrtle Beach with the guys and enjoyed feeling young and carefree. He also had a Monday morning breakfast club that included a bunch of characters that he loved to tease with. Trips and breakfasts were filled with good food, pranks, and childish humor. Bill's faith and commitment to his church were obvious to all that knew him. At Waterford Community Church, he became head usher. He was presented with a Senior Service Award for his commitment and dedication to his church. He also felt a special calling to visit church members when they were in the hospital or in a nursing home. He quietly shared his time and warmth with those in need of a helping hand and a caring presence. After moving to Longmont, he attended the Long Peaks United Methodist Church. Bill was a devoted father and husband. Bill and Phyllis had two lovely daughters, Kimberly and Karen. Bill loved to play with them and tease them. In fact, as you just heard from Karen, he was more like one of the kids. Raising a family required a bigger home, which they enjoyed for many years. Through his daughters, Bill gained two son-in-laws, Dennis and I, who he treated more like his own sons. I first met Bill when I was 17, and I always felt welcome in his home. Bill made quite an impression. When I would take Karen out on a date or a trip to northern Michigan to my parents' campground, he would look at me in the eye and say, as we were walking out the door, "I trust you." That always got to me. I tried to get out the door before he could say that. Not that I was really planning anything wild or crazy, but Bill remembered what it was like being a teenager. Bill thoroughly enjoyed being a grandpa. Kim and Dennis gave him two wonderful grandchildren, Benito and Marisa, and he loved talking to them about sports, especially baseball. He always demonstrated how proud he was of them. He loved to hear about the little things that mattered in their lives because it mattered to him. Even though Bill didn't like talking on the telephone, he would willingly spend 20 minutes talking about baseball or softball game with his grandchildren. He wanted to know all the details. Bill's World War II experience seemed to mean more to him as time passed. In recent years, Bill took a trip that fulfilled and completed his long life service to his country. On the honor flight to Washington, D.C., to see the World War II memorial, Bill made many good friends and continued these new friendships by getting together once a month for lunch. Bill looked forward to seeing the boys more than some of you will ever know. Bill made it a lifelong practice to raise and honor the American flag every single day. I have always been impressed with Bill's faith and commitment to what the flag stands for. We are honored to continue Bill's tradition in his name. For me and each of you, Bill was many things. He had a great sense of humor. I remember one time he was telling us a joke he had heard and was laughing so hard he couldn't repeat it to us. As I remember, it took him several days to finally get it out. It was the longest punchline I have ever heard. My wife Karen could not resist sending him humorous cards for every occasion. He enjoyed his favorite cards over and over again by posting them on the garage wall where he could see them all the time. And you know, as I know, that no matter what your relationship was with Bill, he was always your friend first and foremost. Thank you, Bill, for being gracious and having such gratitude we will always remember.